Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of The Bullet. My name is Paul Lathrop. I'm the Deputy Director of New Media for the Second Amendment Foundation. Joining me today, as he does every Thursday, Mike Piwowarski of the Rundown and Arms Room Radio. Mike, thanks for tagging along today, man.
It's always a pleasure to be sitting in with you and the fine folks from the Second Amendment Foundation. Paul, how are you doing today?
Doing great. I went out yesterday and actually picked up what is going to be my new daily carry gun. Picked up a Car CW9 that Susan actually won down at the NRA annual meetings, and got a Crimson Trace laser grip attached to it, a brand new custom Kydex holster, and I'm actually wearing that as we speak. I'm not going to show it because I've gotten a warning from YouTube already. We're not going to show any live weapons on the air, but just know that I am wearing it. So
Gotcha.
But tested it out yesterday. She passed all of my tests with flying colors, and I could really grow to enjoy this gun.
Isn't it amazing how far CAR has come? I remember when CAR came out, they were just middle low class line, and then they tackled that hurdle and starting to put it out quality target worthy competition stuff, and now it's amazing what they have out. I mean, you look at CAR now and you look at CAR 25 years ago, and it's the opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, absolutely. And the one thing that impressed me the most, even without the lasers, before the laser sight went on there, the sights that are on this gun are very good straight from the factory.
Yeah.
And put the laser on there, and with my old eyes, it was like, there's your target right there.
Right. Yeah. That's a pretty good little tool there. Yep.
So yeah, I'm really liking it. And the CM9, which I had, I think I said CW9. Actually, the CM9 is what I have.
Yeah.
It's got the same problem the original Glock 43 had. I need the extended mags, the standard mag that fits into the well. My pinky and part of my third finger hang off the end of the gun. And so I need the extended mags. Yeah,
it's your man hands, Paul. You got man hands. Yeah.
I need the extended mag for the thing to actually fit properly in my hand. But with that extended mag, man, that is one heck of a piece of equipment, and I absolutely find that I am loving it.
I get the same problem when grabbing guns. For instance, all right, here's a standard red Solo cup right there. Now here's my paws around a big old red Solo cup. It just disappears. So it just.
Well, we do have a lot of stuff to talk about today.
Boy, yeah.
Today, in particular, today more than most other days, but the sticker behind you, the bumper sticker you got behind you on your cabinet, the Let's Go Brandon sticker, that is particularly important today because he got one of his bills through the House yesterday in HR 7910. I want to talk about that a bit today. This really is, we've been talking about it possibly happening, but it did go through the House yesterday. This is the gun grabber's dream bill, man.
Yeah, this has got 6 different provisions in it that they came up with, and the Democrats decided to make everybody vote on each provision individually, so they could highlight who's against them and who's what they're going to use in their re-election campaigns to say who did what. This like you said, this is the wet dream of gun bills, right? It's everything short of an assault weapon ban in there. They went after age limits, they went after magazines. They did. I'm drawing a blank, Paul. What's the other one? So we got
the homemade firearms are now outlawed.
There we go. Yeah, yep.
And the only thing they did not go after was the 9mm lung blower outers.
Right, the lung blower outers. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what a ridiculousness. And they all got the same 5 people, the Democrats, or excuse me, the crossover Rhino Democrats that voted for it, with the one exception being, was it the 18 to 21? They got a bunch more. I think they got about 10 votes to cross over for that one. So it's amazing to see your rights for sale, right, Paul? We don't care. We know that the majority of those up in Congress are not gun people. Let's say that. But we know that they follow, all of the conservative agendas to make sure they stay on our side. But, now they get to the end of their term, and this is what happened with the 4 out of the 5 that didn't or that crossed over. Well, they're ended their term, so their conscience got to them. Oh, your conscience got to you, huh? All right. I guess that means you've been lying to us for how long? How long now? Since you've been in office, since you've been a politician, whole thing's been a lie for you. I understood. Got it.
Well, I'm going to, because when I go online as Polite Society Podcast, it locks up my personal page. I can't look at that. This morning, there were actually 7 Republicans that voted for the full bill, and I listed them this morning on my personal Facebook page. We've got Representative Fitzpatrick from Pennsylvania, Gonzalez from Ohio, Jacobs, Katko, and boy, this is a tongue twister, Malotakis from New York.
Right.
All 3 of them. Kitzinger from Illinois. Now, Kitzinger, I was going to say we need to get all these clowns out of office. Kitzinger got redistricted and is not running. So Kitzinger from Illinois is not coming back anyway. And then Salazar from Florida voted for the bill in full. So those 7, I put on Facebook this morning, need to become baristas this fall. They need not to go back to the House.
No, agreed. Absolutely agreed. Yeah, it's I don't get it, Paul. We could sit around and you could take what appear to be intelligent people, right? And you could say, we have a problem, right? And we have to do something. And yet every time we sit down to define the problem, to them it's the gun. The gun's the problem. It's never never the individual. It's never the mental health. It's always the gun that did it. It's I don't get it. Obviously we understand that what they want to do, and their agenda has been, and this has been since Sandy Hook. And I'm kind of happy that that David Hogg kid showed up and started running his mouth, because he made it clear it's not about gun control. It's about getting rid of all guns. Yeah. And that's what they want. They don't care. Listen, Paul, this could have been any number of things that happened out there, and they would have gone after guns 100%. And this is just more of taking every one of these items is taking a bite out of this. We all know, any of us with any sense of sensibility at all knows that a criminal is going to ignore the gun laws when they want to commit a crime. All this does is take the guns out of my hand, your hand, and every other responsible gun owner that we know.
Yeah, and it takes it out of the teacher's hands. And if they're looking to protect kids, where we need to get the guns is into willing teachers' hands that are willing to be trained, that are willing to step in the line of fire, so to speak, and really protect the kids they're charged with keeping safe. There are teachers out there through the FASTER program. We know this. We've seen them go through training. We've seen time and again, these teachers are willing to do what it takes, and this bill does nothing but work against that.
It's just a tragedy, and without even talking about what happened with the police response, constitutional carry is now the law in Texas. If there hadn't have been this imaginary line, this imaginary gun-free zone line, everybody that worked there could have been carrying a gun, could have legally been carrying a gun. They can at colleges, but because we're teaching at the K through 12, they couldn't do it. And we had to watch, 19 more students die because of a freaking line on the ground and a sign in the dirt that says gun-free zone. Exactly. Bad guy didn't think about that sign, did he, Paul? Didn't care one bit. Didn't care one bit about it. He went
for that sign. I think that sign drew him like a moth to a flame. Let me get a couple comments in here. Yep. Charlie Chambers says, the Protecting Our Kids Act is unconstitutional and does nothing to protect anyone other than criminals. He wants us to contact the United States Capitol switchboard. He's got the number there. I'm going to put it up as well. 202-224-3121. And I agree 100% with Charlie. I'm going to leave that number up there for us, because this now goes to the Senate. And this whole thing needs to be defeated. I don't think there's much of a chance of it going through as it sits through the Senate. I do think there's a chance that 18 to 20-year-olds could lose the ability to buy semi-autos in the Senate, and then they marry that in some form to this. I think there's that chance, but we still all need to be getting on the phone to our senators at 202-224-3121 and put their feet to the fire, especially if you have a purple senator. Let them know you expect them to stand up for our rights.
Yeah, and even if you've got a senator that's lock, stock, and barrel, going to vote no on this nonsense, then contact them. Because guess what they can do? They can reach right across to the other Republican senators and lay that pressure down. Listen, it's time to vote no. You need to get up off. You need to get up off your butt and do the right thing here. Yeah.
Yeah. Get a couple, because we're getting just comments flying in. I'm gonna get a few more of them in. Charlie Cook, who, by the way, he's normally a Monday guy. He's not going to be here this coming Monday. Instead, he and Amanda switch places. Amanda Suffolk is going to be here this coming Monday, and Charlie will be in on Wednesday. But anyway, let me get this comment up. Is this really going to protect our kids? The game plan of the antis always included for the children line. And that's a great point, Charlie. And what I would like to do, I'd like to steal that from them. I want to arm the teachers for the children. If it saves one kid's life to have an armed teacher there to stop an active killer, isn't it worth saving that child's life? And it's not going to save one. It's going to save 18, 19, 20 at a shot.
Yeah. Listen, this could save children, Paul. We could print it out until it's about 5 inches thick and then duct tape it to the kid's chest. And, that could stop a handgun round,
Yeah. Yeah. Gun websites. Pete over there says, there we go. This is all for show, in my opinion. This is an opportunity, and a lot of new gun owners who are their voters already have their ears and attention more than ever before and are challenging their reps on this. I somewhat agree, Pete. I only hope they remember this come November. There have been millions of new gun owners over the last few years. We need to reach out to those new gun owners between now and this November and remind them that they're gun owners and remind them that this particular representative wanted to take that 17-round magazine for their Glock and make it illegal. And I was looking. There were reports that the magazine restrictions was 15 rounds. It's not. It's 10. There was restrictions. There was grandfathering. There is none. You had to get rid of your magazine or become a felon. Period. If this thing goes through, you'll have to destroy your magazine, turn it into the police, or you become a felon. That's it. Those are your choices if this thing gets through the Senate and becomes law. Oops, I lost your audio, Mike. Let me see if it's on my end. Still don't have audio, and it's not on my end. I still have you active on my end, bud. Still not getting anything. While we're waiting for your audio, and just keep trying, I'll go right to you as we come up. I'm going to get a couple more comments in. I'm going to go back to gun websites here, and we're going to go. He says they're doing this for campaign clips and to distract from so many other failures. This has no support. I'm now most interested to see how this backfires on them. I certainly hope it does. I've also heard the opinion, I've seen the opinion on social media that they're doing this for a distraction, that they're hoping this distracts you from the rampant inflation and other things that are wrong with our economy. We'll see. I hope that's what they're going for, but I don't. I personally am not going to let it. I hope this continues to backfire on them. I'm going to keep, and Mike is resetting his connection. Did it?
How we now?
Hey, there we good. Okay.
We had a little power flash. Here, Paul, and I lost my my external board for a moment there, so I apologize.
All right. So I've been talking for quite a bit now. I don't know if you've been hearing me. I'm gonna let you have your turn now, Mike.
Yeah. Listen, like we just said there, Gun website says this is them trying to gain the momentum back before the midterms. This is them trying to come up with sound bites. This is them trying to sound tough. This is them trying to get ready for the elections and make themselves seem relevant again. This is nothing to do about solving the issues. We know how to solve the issues, folks. Every one of us knows how to solve the issues. Again, get rid of that damn gun-free zone sign, right? Allow teachers to carry. Allow them to carry. Remember, I didn't say armed teachers, and I know that's just a misnomer there. Armed teachers sounds like we're making teachers get guns from the arms room when they show up every day for work. No, if they're going to carry their firearm at home, if they're going to carry the firearm in a supermarket, wherever it happens to be, just because there's this line on the ground, they can't protect their daily family, their daytime family, as opposed to their evening and nighttime family. It's crap. Get rid of that, and this solves this problem. We don't have this problem at Reed Elementary School. We don't have this at Pulse. We don't have this in the supermarket in Buffalo, which was a gun-free zone, right? All of these gun-free zones. Well, listen, Buffalo is pretty much an entire gun-free zone. That's the problem with being in the city of Buffalo. But everywhere we have the solution. The solution is not adding more gun laws, because criminals don't care, folks. Criminals don't care about your gun laws.
Yeah, 100% not. We were, again, these comments are just coming screaming in. I want to get a couple more of them in. This one came in just as before your sound came back. Kevin said Mike never sounded so good.
It came in low. It came in low. I don't know if it. Can I get up at our height? Can we get that up here?
Okay, that's an inside joke, but we'll leave it for an inside joke. Big John 410 over on the YouTube side says, is anyone else wondering when President Biden will honor the Border Patrol police officers with a White House ceremony for being the ones that finally put an end to the Robb school shooting? I don't think that's going to happen, Big John,
no.
Simply because they disobeyed local command orders to stand down. Yep. The local police chief ordered all law enforcement to stand down. They disregarded and went anyway. So I don't think there's going to be a White House ceremony.
No, not for them anyway, right?
Yeah, no. And then Spartan 6, I love this one. Fox News reported that a Quinnipiac poll showed that support for an assault weapon ban is now at an all-time low. Maybe that's why that didn't make it into this big, massive gun ban bill, because, in the 90s, and one thing that Biden is constantly going back to whenever he's off script, he'll go to, we had an assault weapon ban in the 90s and I helped push it through the Senate. What he never says is, we had this.
It didn't work.
Well, he doesn't say that either, but another one that he pushed through was the Gun-Free School Zones Act, and he pushed that through in 1989. 10 years later, we get Columbine. 15 years after that, we get Sandy Hook. This Gun-Free School Zones Act has killed more kids than smallpox, damn near. And that's an exaggeration, and I'll admit that one. But
I don't know if I would. Listen, you might be close, right? You might be right. If you're talking about smallpox since then, not forever, but this is. What do we do? You call that number right there, that U.S. Capitol number. You call that. That's what you do, and you tell them again. I don't care if your senator stands up and says, or if your representative stands up and says 100% opposed to this, you need to call him and tell him to call them other people and put them on the carpet and start doing publicity over that and calling them out, because they're no friend of ours, they're no friend of yours, they're no friend of theirs, they're no friend of freedom. no friend of America, no friend of the Constitution if they're voting for this nonsense.
Even if you're Dan Waz's neighbor up in New York and good old Chucky Schumer is your senator, call Chuck's office and tell the person that answers the phone you want Chucky to change his stripes.
That's right. And if that doesn't work, you ask him if he's got Prince Albert in a can. Yeah.
All righty.
But yeah, no, I would do it. I'd call him every day. And you just to have a conversation. Hey, the senator's office, I'd like to have the conversation. Here I am. And, could you explain to me why the gun-free zone thing is there? Why don't we get rid of that? Why don't we allow that to, come up with the alternatives? Have a decent conversation with these people. We got the program, talking about that. If you can't define the problem, we're never going to get the solution. And the problem is not the gun. And that's where we need to be going. We need to have that conversation about it's the individual, right? It's evil. It's your laws. It's your over-restrictive laws that keep the responsible gun owner from carrying a gun everywhere we go. Paul, there's a story we were looking at earlier where we had a school shooting stopped out in Alabama.
Yes. Gadsden today. There was a, and I do not know if the Texas shooting had anything to do with it. I suspect it might. There is increased security around all schools, but there was a locked down school, a guy raising heck outside trying to get in. They quickly locked down the school for real with real security. They had a school safety officer, police officer, in the school. He called for backup. Between the police officer and the backup that arrived, they were able to stop the threat, kill the bad guy. At any rate, all 34 children inside the school are safe because there was a good guy with a gun in the school.
Yeah, absolutely right. And there you go. Remember, Alabama's newly welcomed to the crowd of constitutional carry states. So even if the good guy, let's say that, and I know it's a school officer there, but let's say even if the good guy is not allowed to carry that gun on the school grounds, maybe it's in his car because he didn't want to carry it in. I'd still rather somebody have the second chance to get the firearm than no chance at all. Ideally, Let's get rid of these gun-free zones. I'll have to look up and see if Alabama's one or not. I can't recall if Alabama is a K through 12 no gun state or not.
I want to get this one in here real fast. Spartan 6 says, I'm calling Warnock's office, and after they tell me he will vote for the bill, I will say, well, make sure you clean that office real good because Herschel Walker will be sitting in it next session. I love that.
There you go.
All right. And then one more. Kevin Sona down there in Florida says, thousands of teachers and staff already carry daily. And in states like Colorado and Ohio, where they have the FASTER program already in full swing, they're trying to get it through in Arizona. I know for a fact, they don't have the FASTER program here, but I know for a fact there are armed teachers in South Dakota. They don't publish how many, they don't publish which schools, and that's a good thing that they don't. But I know for a fact there are armed teachers in South Dakota schools. I know in some states they allow it, and I just wish they'd allow it in every school.
Yeah, Paul, I'm reading through the Alabama law real quick, and again, folks, I've just first glance at it in a while. It is legal to carry a firearm on Alabama school grounds unless you intend to commit a crime. But just carrying the firearm itself is not the crime. If you did another crime and had the firearm, then you'd be facing charges. But just the carrying is legal, from what I see here. And again, I'm not an attorney in Alabama. I got about 30 seconds worth of research into it. So.
All right. So you've done more research than most lawmakers do over their entire lives.
Hey, Paul, how many times do we have to hear, listen, you're going to have to vote on the bill first before you can read it. How many times do we have to hear that in our lives?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. One more story I want to talk about, and that's why I've left this U.S. Capitol switchboard number up. A story off of NPR. They are reporting that Senate negotiators think they're going to have a compromise by the end of this week. And when you're talking the Senate, that's tomorrow. They think they're going to have a deal where they can push some sort of compromise of this House bill forward in the Senate tomorrow. But the deal struck by tomorrow. That doesn't mean the bill's going to move forward tomorrow. That's why we need to be calling the U.S. Capitol switchboard. I've been saying call it during business hours. I'm gonna withdraw that. Call it tonight and leave a message. Then call again tomorrow during business hours. You don't need to know who your senators are. Just give them your zip code or tell them what state you're in. They'll be able to connect to your senator's office. And when you get the voicemail, leave a polite voicemail and call them back tomorrow during business hours on the East Coast.
Yep. Paul, I'll bet you a paycheck on top of a box of Krispy Kremes that it's the compromise is going to be the 18 to 21 year olds or the 18 to 20. That's what they're going to do. That's what they're going to come up with. And listen, I guess that's kind of good because we've already seen out of the Ninth Circuit that that's illegal. You can't take away every opportunity for to protect yourselves. Remember the important thing to remember out in the Ninth Circuit was it's already illegal. Against the law, you have to be 21 to purchase a handgun. So once they took away long guns, they said you can't do all of that. You can't take away everything. So I don't know how you conceal a shotgun or an AR, but that's what they went with out there. So yeah, listen. You're taking away the rights of adults of 18 to 20s. What else are we going to take away? Are they going to be adults anymore? If they're not adults, are they juveniles through their 21st birthday? What is it? It's they either are adults or they aren't adult. We can't keep bouncing around the age when they're adults and when they're not adults. Okay, 18 we can go to war. We can kill there. That's fine. All right, great. I get to do that. Can't have a smoke till I'm 18 now or 20, 21. Can't you got to decide. You can't be just because it's convenient for voting. That we're going to change it to 21 and try and get this compromise. No compromise, Paul. Remember, compromise is the dirty word unless we get to use it, right? Here's the compromise we want. Here's the compromise. I'm willing to do some compromise. I am, Paul. I'll say it right now on the air. I'm willing to do some compromise. I'm willing to take back half of the Gun Control Act of 1968 right now. I'll take back half. And then next year I'll take back the other half. And then the year after that, I'll take back the National Firearms Act. I'm willing. We could stage it. I'm willing to compromise to get all the gun rights back that you've taken from us. I don't have a problem with compromise, but that's the way it needs to go. It needs to go in our direction, and they shouldn't walk out of there without getting something rather than giving something up.
I'll even compromise. I'll even be a little more compromising than you. How about we compromise? We start the compromise with, okay, let's start the compromise with, I think it was the 1986 Firearms Owners Protection Act, where you could no longer buy fully automatic firearms whether or not you had a tax stamp that were manufactured after 86. Let's get rid of that one. Start with the most recent and walk your way back.
Yeah, that's a compromise on my compromise, Paul. I'm good with that. Let's do that. It's a double compromise.
Yeah. Let's get this one up, and then we need to start because we're down at the bottom of the hour. But let's get this one up here quick. Spartan 6 says if they pass 18 to 21 portion, then someone should propose a bill taking away all constitutional rights for 18 to 21. Yeah, and I brought this up before. 18-year-olds right now have a supremely huge power. They can change the direction of the nation through their vote. If they're not responsible enough to carry a weapon, they certainly shouldn't be responsible enough to change the direction of our nation.
One of the attorneys I work with here said if they raise the age to 21 years old, that just further solidifies that 18 to 20 is no longer an adult. And we know they're not an adult, and we know they're not juvenile, which leaves them in the middle in this weird void. So they must just become property at that point. So he's actually going to petition to own some 18 to 20-year-olds just to prove the point legally.
All right. That's unique. That's a very unique perspective.
Yeah. Well, if you're not an adult and you're not a child, what are you?
Exactly. All right. Well, We need to start shutting this down, dude. If you would, please tell us about the rundown and tell us about Arms Room Radio, if you would, bud.
Yeah, Rundown, you can catch it every day at 5 p.m. Eastern. It's myself and co-host Mr. Craig DeLuz. And then on the Saturday Big Show with the Arms Room Radio, where it all started, on Saturdays 3 to 5 p.m., armsroomradio.com. Me and my guest, or my co-host, Big Man Earl.
All right. Well, on my end, tomorrow is Friday, and tomorrow is Training Friday. And so it's going to be Tom Walls from the Firearms Academy of Seattle. We're going to be talking tomorrow about everyday carry. And everyday carry is more than just your gun. And believe it or not, it's more than just your gun and a spare magazine. We'll be talking about that tomorrow. Make sure you tune in and catch that. Do not have the Saturday lineup firmed up yet. Working on that as we speak. But we will be here Saturday at noon Central Time as well. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we will catch you